Hi guys, welcome to the demo video of my Mark II version of the Open Blaster project. My Mark II is simply a more fun version of the E11 Mark I build that I did. For the Mark II I wanted to do something completely different so that you could see that there's other options you can do and you don't have to use like a Hasbro blaster body or a standard E11 body to do this. This was actually a Force Awakens Nerf gun that I completely opened up and gutted all the Nerf components out and then rebuilt with similar components to the Mark I version of this build that I did. For the shot counter I have mounted into the Nerf magazine, which kind of fits nicely. It's kind of neat to have it there. The battery box is interesting because the Nerf guns have these chambers that you can open up and reach into to pull out a jammed dart. So that was actually a nice place to tuck the battery box into. For this I actually used cylinder batteries, which I can touch on a little later. But it had a power switch right in the battery box, so that's nice. Slide the battery box back in and close the hatch. And then for this build I used an all-red shot counter, and for me that actually helped reduce the cost of this build a little bit because I was able to buy a lot of 10 of these for like $1 a piece versus the $6 I paid for the single units that was multicolored in a specific pattern that I used in the Mark I version. So the first thing you'll notice with the Mark II is that I've added a blast rail to it. So within the holes that were built into the Nerf gun, I put LEDs all along it. So now as you fire, it's got the nice blast rail that looks like the electric bolt is shooting out. Same thing as the Mark I. Selector switch will flash 2 lights to show I'm going to sound 2. And then sound 2 is stun, which is the blue light. Which the blue lights in here just look phenomenal on the blast rail. So that's basically it. Similar to the Mark I, except I added that blast rail, and this was done in a Nerf build. I did add one additional configuration setting in this as well. So similar to the Mark I, to go into configuration, both buttons at the same time. Drops into configuration. The first mode is the 2-shot versus the expanded sound mode. I'm going to just skip past this. Next is standby mode, which I'm just going to skip past this. I touched on that in Mark I. And then mode 3. I will give you one guess and you're going to be right as to what this is. Cylon mode. So for this, if I hit the selector switch, but you have to get the timing just right. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get. Boom, Cylon mode. So right now it's flashing red. If I hit the trigger, it's going to show the color of the light depending on what sound I'm on. So I think I left off on stun, so it's probably going to swap over to blue after the initial blast goes through. I got to get out of configuration mode. Alright, exited out of my configuration mode. So it shot the rail down, and then after a few second pause, kicks back in with the blast rail doing the Cylon mode. switch back over to sound 1. And now this will fire red, and then the Cylon light will switch to red after the pause. So yeah, that's basically it for the Mark II. Little different build, kind of neat. I really do like the blue on the blast rail. It's so much brighter than the red. So, real quick, for this build, the cylinder batteries that I talked about using, not a good idea. Realistically, I get about 15 minutes of use, and then the batteries are done. I'm not sure why they don't have as much as versus some of the other, like a camera battery or something, but they don't hold up. So not a good idea. I did this as essentially a proof of concept to just to show that it could be done. It's a prototype, so if I decide to make something else similar to this, such as a Hasbro mod, there's definitely things I'm going to do differently. This is one of those deals where you see on the movies or cartoons where you have to have your buddies sit on the suitcase to close it, because this is pretty much it. I really had to hold this sucker closed. I was putting the screws in because there's so many wires that, you know, I finally got it shut and kind of crossed my fingers hoping that nothing got destroyed as I turned it on. So yeah, that's it. Mark II, pretty neat. Thanks for watching.